Hey bot builders, I'm Gordy from Hanakano, and in this video we're going to be going through the Grafana Cloud integration that I built for Botpress Cloud. Now Grafana is an analytics and metrics platform, but Botpress already has analytics built into the product. So why do we need an integration with a third-party platform, Grafana, to do something that Botpress already has built in? Well, it comes from a couple of things. The first is that the analytics in Botpress can't be customized unless you're on one of their paid plans, whereas Grafana has a really great free tier, and we'll talk about that more later. But also, the granularity of Botpress's default metrics is not very fine. You can't break down metrics by the time of day or by the channel, and there's also not default metrics for things like workflow success completion or different events like that, unless you have the custom analytics agent. So the Grafana platform will let you make more granular analytics and then visualize them in a third-party platform. And this video is going to go through exactly how you do that. But before we get there, a quick word from our sponsor, me. I run my own conversational AI consulting company called Hanakano. If you are building a bot that is going to affect your bottom line by doing sales or lead generation or providing a service, we specialize in building bots that make money. Please go visit my website, hanakano.com, and book a free consultation if you'd like to bring me on to help with a project, with planning, with auditing an existing bot. Happy to talk and help you with your project. Now, on to the show. Grafana is, like we said, a platform for logging and for metrics. Their original offering is Prometheus logs and Loki, which are designed for system admins who have thousands of gigabytes a day of logs over distributed systems that they need to parse and make sense of on a daily basis. However, they also have endpoints for sparse events like metrics, and all of this can be used on their cloud offering, which is about maybe 4 or 5 years old, I think, has been Grafana Cloud, which makes it really easy to use with Botpress because then you don't have to host anything. You just make another account, use their free tier, and then you'll be able to record and save your metrics. This is what the Grafana dashboard can look like. There is so much customization that you can do with all the different charts and groupings and everything that you can absolutely get lost in building your dashboard. This is the demo dashboard that we'll be going through today. You'll see this in action a little bit later in the video. So the integration gives two different actions or cards in Botpress. There's the send metric card, which is the quick one. It has a bunch of what I personally think are sensible defaults for the metadata, things like the channel, the bot ID, the user and conversation, and a versioning number. And this stuff is already filled out when you put the card into your bot. That makes it really, really fast and easy to just add metrics and add logging events all throughout your bot wherever you need them. On the other side is the raw data action, and this lets you craft your own Prometheus metric or logging string, and that in its entirety is sent raw straight to Grafana Cloud. It is maximum flexibility, but with great flexibility comes great threshold for pain. And if you don't follow the Prometheus format, if you're not consistent with your metadata throughout your entire bot, you can make more trouble than it's worth. But if that's your thing, raw data is for you. There is a lot of information that gets sent with each metric call, but there's 4 big categories. The first is the metric name, and this is the important one that you as the bot developer are going to be spending your time on. It's the main identifier for the metric. When you are in Grafana later and you make your queries, this is the one that you're going to be typing in and looking for. Grafana will append _metric to whatever the metric name is, so just don't call your things metric1 metric, because then it will be metric1 metric in Grafana, and that's just silly looking. The other thing is that there's no white space allowed in the metric name, so no spaces, no tabs, no new lines. My integration will yell at you if you try to do that, so don't. The next stuff is the metadata. This is everything else, the channel ID, conversation, user, bot version, all of this is the metadata. When you're in your raw string, you can add or remove metadata as you wish. In SendMetric, it's hard-coded to be there and already filled out for you, so it's just generally useful. You use the metadata when you're filtering your metrics, so you have the channel right there, so that helps you filter conversations started on web versus conversations started in Facebook Messenger, and useful things like that. Next, you have the timestamp, and this is automatically added by the integration. You as the developer don't need to worry about it. And then finally is the metric value. This is another thing that the integration adds automatically for SendMetric, but in raw data you can see just at the very end there it says metric equals 1, and this is the value that's sent along with the metric. It's hard-coded to be 1 for SendMetric because that makes the sum of all conversations started equal to the count of all conversations started, which just limits the amount of choices and ways you can manhandle a query. But with raw data, if you want a certain event to count 10 times more, you can set the value to 10 or 100 or 3. You have the flexibility with raw data to do whatever you want. Let's talk a little bit about Grafana. This is how you spell it. You'll need to make an account on Grafana, but they do have a really nice free tier available. You can make your account in your org for free and get access to all of the metrics and visualization that we need for this integration. Honestly, the worst part about the free tier is that they only keep your metrics for 7 days and then poof, all gone. So if you want to save that data to do like a monthly or yearly kind of look back of your data, you do need to download all of those metrics and then save them somewhere else, to a Google Drive or a spreadsheet or just a CSV on your computer. That's what I do. To set this up, you need 3 pieces of information: your endpoint, your user ID, and your API key. All of this information is in the add new connection part. You don't actually have to add the connection. It gets added automatically once you start pushing data to the influx endpoint. But all of the data is there on that screen. You can make your API key and give it the right permissions. And then at the bottom in this code sample, you see your URL. That's the one that starts with influx prod. I'm pointing like you can see where I'm pointing. And also your user ID, which is that 7-digit number, in this case 1943, so on. And you need that information because in the configuration part of the integration, that's where you put those data in. So you add the integration to your bot. It's public, it's free. Just go 1, 2, 3, save it, and then you'll be good to go. So let's actually build something now. I've got a demo bot over here. I want to buy some toner. Sure, I have normal skin. Yay, I got redirected. And then I can ask some contextual questions like, what is the scent profile on this one? And it should be able to answer me and say that the parsley seed smells like parsley seed. Pretty cool. I want to add a bunch of events to this bot to measure some stuff. This is the bot in Botpress. Get out of here, you. It's a pretty small and simple bot. This is the main flow. And I've got 3 metrics that I want to add. The first is about the invocations versus active conversations. So because this bot will reach out first, I want to see how many people actually replied to the bot. We call that conversation started versus active conversations. And then I also want to look at the appointment scheduling flow. So this bot can ask, can I talk to a skincare specialist? How about on Monday? Let's do 11 a.m. 13th January. Yeah, that sounds about right. Great. last step, yeah, it's gordy@email.com. Yeah, that looks right. And then, ta-da, we've got our email. So I want to see how many people will start that flow and then how many people actually complete and finish the thing. And we can do that all with the Grafana integration. So I put little notes here to make my life easy when I'm adding the analytics. So I'll do send metric right here. This is where conversation start is. And as you saw, all of the metadata here is filled in automatically. I don't have to type anything. Makes it really fast and easy to add metrics. Let's do that for active conversations. No, get out of here. Put that after our user input so we don't measure people who abandon the chat before saying anything. We'll do the same thing over here when I do my knowledge base search. I want to also log that people asked a question and it actually got answered. And then I also want to log the opposite, when people ask a question and the bot doesn't know what the answer is. And there we have it. That's how we add the metrics. Other cool things in this flow, so this is the recommendation. It does some AI stuff at the top and then finds a product and then says, hey, buy this product and redirect you. And in this case, I am using a variable for the product name because which product differs from conversation to conversation. Crucially though, I first use just some basic regex to replace all of the white space with an underscore because Prometheus metrics cannot have white space. And then for scheduling an appointment, I just have a start metric at the beginning, and I like to name these, starting with workflow and then the actual workflow name, the same one that you see over here in the sidebar, and then start for the start one, and then it has its pair at the end here with workflow schedule appointment complete for the completion one. Simple as that. When we look over at the dashboard, we can see in the last 3 hours that we've had lots of conversations, one conversation start, and this is what kind of Grafana looks like. The parsley seed toner is killing it. When you are doing a visualization, Grafana has its own kind of DSL or domain-specific language for doing its own queries, and ChatGPT knows this DSL really, really well. So you can just ask ChatGPT, hey, what's the Grafana query to do the completion rate, right? I want to know how many times I start a workflow, then divide that by the number of times that I complete the workflow. So we could do something like schedule appointment starts, and then duplicate that query and get schedule completion down here. We'll filter the bot ID to be the bot ID for this queso bot. And then, not this one, schedule appointment start. And do it for this guy. I wonder if there's any data in here. Oh, look at that. Cool. So we can look at that maybe as a bar chart. Hey, so there's a, what is this? Start metric and complete metric. And you can do all sorts of nice aggregations with that. From the Grafana dashboard. This is not a Grafana tutorial. There's so many more of those online from people who are much more qualified than I am to teach you about Grafana. So I will bid you good luck at this point with your dashboard. The integration is right here in the Botpress Cloud Hub, Grafana down here. You can add it to your bot today and get started with metrics. Once again, my name is Gordy, and happy bot building.